When did you know that Jihad was kind of wired that way to score on a big stage, regardless of the size of the stage?
Obviously he, averaged 19 points last year. So he was a, consistent scorer before he came here, and actually trying to get him to shoot the basketball more in practice. Like, he passes up on some things to where the guys that we've had that we run stuff for have shot him. I don't know if you've watched this last couple of years. Those guys shot a lot of those, open threes, and he's got a good mid-range game. He likes to put the ball on the floor, get to the basket. Against certain people, sometimes that's difficult. When you get against ultimate size at the rim. But no, he's got a good knack for scoring. Got a good, kind of got a mature pulse, to his game. So he really helped us out tonight.
Matt, what went into the scheduling the game with Link?
I really don't handle much of it. I look at it. We want to play, quality opponents. We want to play, teams. When you do play a mid-major team, you want to play somebody that, is like them, had success, have older people. They won 21 games last year, and you really want to drive up, the value of your schedule by playing teams such as that. You're going to have your balance. I think we play, 6 high major non-conference games. And with 20, Big Ten games, how you balance those other 5. If you have quality mid-level teams in there, man, it can really help you. It can really help you. The thing that we try to do is play people that are different also. So they're a lot different than what we normally see. They're smaller, they're quick, they're athletic. That gives you problems. It gave us problems in the first half. If we could have just did some simple things and passed the basketball, was a little bit more efficient, we could have been in a much better position, at halftime. That's cool. That's a wrap.
What's the biggest difference you see in Eric Hunter this year relative to the last year?
He gets to play. That's the biggest difference. Anytime you can get in a game and just find your way through a game and not have to bottle up everything that you want to do in 10 to 12 minutes, it's very difficult. I know I talk about that a lot. But, just getting in the game and staying in the game and feeling comfortable and confident. Tonight, like, he was 1 for 5 from 3, but, his intermediate game's good. He had 6 assists, 1 turnover. I thought his ability to pressure the basketball and was very good. I thought he gave us a great effort. So, but more than anything, the opportunity. It's hard. It's hard to play at a high level, but until you can get yourself in that position from a competitive standpoint to play all the time, you're going to have a tough time being consistent. It's hard to be consistent with inconsistent minutes.
Did that lead to him and Proctor in that second half stretch, kind of feeding your offense? It started at the defensive end, but feeding that offense to give you a little bit more cushion there?
Yeah, we had a tough time getting away from him. Like I said, I thought we should have been in a better situation at halftime than we were. And then I thought, Green Bay played better than us probably that first 6-7 minutes, of the second half. And those guys then got on a run and scored the basketball and pushed the lead, closer to 20.
Jihad said that you only have to tell him once now to shoot. He doesn't want to hear it a second time.
Yeah.
Are you still harping on that with him?
Yeah, no question. He'll pass up on, some things. And, you harp on moving the basketball so much that sometimes when you deal with guys that are pleasers, that kind of resonates a little bit too much with them. You got to get the ball to the other side. You got to swing the basketball. You got to get movement. But once you do and you have openings, the thing that will creep in is when you play really good people, it's so hard to get a good shot. So whenever you get it, you got to take it. It's just hard to do. And sometimes, those shots aren't going to always go for you, but they're sure better than a tough shot or a turnover. And, you just got to try to capitalize and, be opportunistic and take what they give you.
Nojo looked like he injured his hand there on the baseline, but came back in. Can you explain what happened with that?
Yeah, he hurt his hand, and he went out, and then he came back and hurt
Nothing
his hand
serious,
again.
though?
I don't know. You'd have to ask them. So I'm not real good with the injuries. So I just leave it up to them, and then whatever they say, But they said he could go. He kept coming back and saying they went and did something in the locker room. They said it wasn't broken. He said he wanted to go back, and then when he went back in, he hurt it again, and so I don't know.
Coach, what was one or two things you learned about your team tonight, first game, that you didn't think of, in practice, and something you saw tonight?
Nothing really different. I thought Aaron Wheeler did a good job rebounding. Thought that was a great sign for us. He had the best plus minus on our team. I didn't stay with him all, he played 30 minutes, but just trying to establish our bench a little bit, trying to get some guys, some time. I thought Matt Harms was really good. I thought he was going after the basketball, which is a great sign for him. But more than anything, it was a tough game for us. That wasn't easy. So anytime your team has to show, just some toughness and some mental toughness and kind of grind some things out. I know it never got to where it was, a possession or 2-possession game in the second half, but it was never easy for us. And that's why you play quality teams. And but I thought those guys rebounded the basketball well, and I thought we showed, a little bit of toughness to push the game out.
Thanks, Coach. Ryan, Mike, and then Dustin.
Do you have any sense yet for how long Stefanovic might be limited?
I don't. I'd like to think here in the next week or two he'll be back, but I don't know. He didn't have any swelling, so I think that's a good sign. But it's not a sprained ankle; it's a foot injury.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty good for not knowing much about injuries.
Making improvements in a short amount of time.
My presence.
I really don't know. I wasn't trying to. I just that happened 2 days ago. So when things happen in a game, I don't know at that present moment. And normally I got to come in here and talk from a medical standpoint. So.
Gillis and Newman, decisions on them?
Yeah, they're both going to redshirt. So we're a little thin, as you see. I think we can work our way through it. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about both those guys. I redshirt guys because I think they're good. And I think both those guys are going to be really good players for us. It's really hard to process. They both have a different makeup, but they both have a lot of the same qualities. They're both workers. They both care. They're skilled. But you get a lot of things thrown at you when you first come here. That's why you see the guys in football, come at the break. Because now they get to go through spring football and then get ready and give themselves a chance. Those guys that don't come for spring football and they're true freshmen, those guys are just studs. Those guys are rare. But those guys that are graduating early and coming through spring football, that's the reason they do it. Now they give themselves a chance to be able to play in the fall. And in our sport we don't have that. They come in the summer and we try our best. Sometimes you can do it, sometimes you can't. Some guys are morphing into different positions, and what happens to you if you're not one of the primary guys, you're not a starter, you're not a 20, 25, 30-minute guy, you're going to be able to slide into a role that has to help that team. And then sometimes you're not ready for that yet, to be solid or just, set screens or play defense, rebound, and they could do those things, but also in hindsight, when you think about people that we haven't redshirted versus people that we have, like Ryan Klein's probably our best and most recent example. Like Ryan Smith should have redshirted, and I messed that up. Klein did win a couple games for us, maybe as a freshman, definitely the game at Pitt. But at the end of the year, is him winning one non-conference game better than him playing a full season 4 years later? Whereas right now, we would all look at him, at least I would look at him, as an all-conference level player. So I think that's, sometimes as a coach, you learn a lot from sometimes your mistakes that you didn't do it for somebody else. So I think that's but we are thin. We are at that line to where, if everybody was healthy, those two guys would probably have a tough time getting in. Maybe one of them would get in a little bit, depending on what we need. And now, today, they would have played some. Mason probably would have played some. Brandon probably could have played some. We were thin right there. But I think this is in their best interest. So
That's the last one.
But we came to that together. So if they were adamant about not doing it, I wouldn't make them do it. So.
I wanted to go back to Eric and Jihad, basically. How much of an element does that add, just what they were able to do off the bounce, basically, and
Right.
they were able to get to the rim? How much do you think that adds to your offense, just having that capability?
No doubt. You have to be able to have guys that can get the ball in the paint. People aren't just going to let you get the basketball in the paint. And so I feel like we have some good skill. We have some guys that can make shots. and depending on what kind of actions you want to run, you know, you have to have the ability to deliver the ball if you have post up to get the ball in the paint. And tonight we just did an okay job with that. We got to do a better job with that. So how can you get the ball to the paint? You know, you got to be able to cut through the paint. You got to be able to get the ball and get angles and attack people in different actions. And I thought those guys were able to do that. Sometimes the game gets open in transition, and those are, you know, teams are pretty vulnerable in transition of the ball getting to the paint. So I think those guys just did a good job of getting in there and keep probing the defense. And not everybody's going to let you get to where you want, and that's your job to understand how they're guarding to be able to get there. But if we could have knocked down some shots, I think it could have opened up things more. We never really got, you know, Green Bay to, we were 6 for 19 from 3. So, you know, you get in there and you're 10 for 19, and I know it's just 4 shots, but it's 12 points. It's a big difference. And we never really got that. But that, you know, the 3 is a pretty important piece to what we do. And so if you can get a good post-up game and you can make some threes and you can get those 2 guys or, you know, any of our guys driving the ball and getting to the paint, you know, now you're really putting a lot of stressors on the defense and in different ways.
Thank you, guys.
Matt, hey, just to clarify something you said, when No-Gel went out the second time, was that his finger again?
I think it was the same thing. Whatever the hell he hurt, his hand, wrist, whatever that was.
It looked like his finger the first time. The second
Did it?
time, I didn't know. It looked like he was wincing a little bit
Was
with
it?
his shoulder.
Here, that's where the tape was.
You guys are great.
Just wanted to make sure we were quoting you.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
was
Well,
understanding.
so far that gets you. I really don't know. That wasn't a pre-existing injury, so I really didn't.
I was following the tape.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.